Hey y'all, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome here if you're new. My name is Kirsti. Now, I know a lot of kids are going back to school this week, so first off, I hope everyone is having a great week back at school, but that also means that your weeknights just got super busy. So this week, I'm bringing you two recipes, both made in the Instant Pot, to help your weeknights go a little bit smoother. Before we get started on those recipes, I do want to thank my new YouTube friend, Ashley Lauren Price, for collaborating with me on today's video. I met Ashley here on YouTube about a month ago, and I am so glad that I did. She is so sweet, and her channel is awesome. I have been binge watching all of her videos because they are so good. On Ashley's channel, she shares a lot of recipe ideas and meal inspiration. So make sure after you watch my video today, you go over to her channel and check her out. She will also be sharing some Instant Pot recipes. I'll make sure to have her video and her channel down in my description box below for you. If you are coming over from Ashley's channel, I just want to say hello and welcome. I am so happy that you decided to stop by. My name is Kirsti. And here on my channel, I love to share what's for dinners, recipe ideas, grocery hauls, and a little bit of our life here on our small farm. I love cooking and homesteading. I live on about 4.5 acres with my husband Tyler and our two dogs, who is Copper the Beagle and Moses the Mastiff. We also have some chickens, a goose, and we recently just got sweet baby ducklings. If you like that kind of content, I would absolutely love if you subscribed and became part of my YouTube family. The first recipe that we are making today is a Instant Pot chicken hibachi. Y'all, I am so excited for this dinner. I think it's going to turn out really good. So we're just going to go ahead and jump right into it. It's kind of like a dump and go. So I'm going to start out with the sauce that you have to put in first. We're going to start with 1/2 cup of water. And I'm doubling the sauce just because, one, I like a lot of sauce, and I'm probably going to add a little bit of extra protein than what the recipe actually called for. So then you're going to add in 1/2 cup of soy sauce. And I'm actually using this coconut aminos, which is just a soy-free alternative for soy sauce. And to me, it tastes exactly the same. I'm going to be adding in about 2 tablespoons of this pure ground ginger. The recipe actually called for fresh ginger, but I don't have any fresh ginger, so I think this powdered would be just fine. So I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of that, 2 tablespoons of garlic powder. Now on the recipe on this as well asked for like minced garlic, but I looked in my refrigerator and I did not have any. I usually don't run out, but I guess I did. About 2 tablespoons of sugar. And you're going to want about 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper. And last but certainly not least is we're just going to use some pure honey. I do just want to kind of give this a quick stir so that way when we put in the protein and the vegetables, there's not any clumps of the seasoning. After getting that all stirred up, you're going to want to go ahead and add in your veggies. I'm just going to be adding in about a medium-sized onion, a couple diced up squash. Now again, the recipe did call for zucchini, but I used all my zucchini in an earlier recipe this week, but I did have some squash, so we're just going to go ahead and use that. I'm going to add in 1 can of mushrooms. You can use fresh mushrooms if you want to. I think that would still taste absolutely delicious, but of course just use what you have on hand. And last but certainly not least is we're just going to add in some diced chicken. I just diced it up into small bite-sized pieces, and the recipe didn't specify if you were going to use frozen or thawed. I assumed it was thawed because they wanted you to cut it up. But if you have to use frozen, that's probably okay. You'll probably just want to up the time. I do just want to kind of give this a gentle toss, just so everything has a chance to get coated with some of that sauce. Once you get everything kind of stirred up, you just want to go ahead and put your lid on. Make sure your valve is on sealing. And then on mine, I'm going to hit manual, and I'm going to cook this for 5 minutes. Now that my timer has gone off, we're just going to come up here and we're going to release that steam. Y'all, this is smelling absolutely amazing. So I'm going to go ahead and plate it up. And that's what we're having for dinner tonight. Instant pot chicken hibachi. And I'm just serving ours over some brown rice. Y'all, we really enjoyed that dinner. It was packed full of flavor. The only thing I would say is that the recipe did call to make a cornstarch slurry at the end if you wanted your sauce to be a little bit thicker, and I would recommend that you go ahead and do that. But other than that little step, it was amazing. For our second recipe, we are making a creamy ranch pork chops, or in my case, pork bites. To start this recipe off, I'm going to go ahead and add in about 1 tablespoon of oil to my Instant Pot, and about 2 tablespoons of butter. I have my Instant Pot on the saute setting, and while the butter melts, over here on my pork, I just went ahead and cut mine up into bite-sized pieces. One is just a preference. 2, when I'm using a pork loin instead of pork chops, and when I pulled the pork loin out of the freezer and thawed it, well, I didn't realize it until I was fixing to get ready doing this recipe that I had a bone-in pork loin thawed. So I just went ahead and cut it up into small pieces. I don't think it's going to be a big deal. I'm going to go ahead and add in some of this ranch seasoning to the pork. We're going to give that a toss just so all these pieces can get coated with some of that seasoning. So my oil is getting pretty hot, so I'm going to go ahead and put in some of these pork bites. That's what I'm going to call them. I'm going to call them pork bites. And I'm going to kind of cook these in batches. You're not wanting to cook these all the way. You're just wanting to get some color on the outside of the pork bite. So I'm going to let that sit there, give a little bit of color, give it a toss. Once I get color on all these pieces, I'm going to take these out and we're going to cook the remainder of these. Once you get all the pork out of your Instant Pot, you're going to want to turn it off of saute. Add in about 1/4 cup of chicken broth. And then here with my wooden spoon, I'm just going to go along here and scrape off all the little bits that may have gotten stuck to the bottom. And one reason you want to do this is because if you leave that on there, you may get a burn notice when you're cooking, and you don't want that to happen. Add in about a cup more of chicken broth. Add back in your pork. For me, it's my pork bites. For you, it may just be pork chops. Place your lid on. Cook this for 7 minutes. So I'm just going to hit manual and go up to 7 minutes. So our timer just went off. We're going to let this sit here and naturally release for about 10 minutes. And then after 10 minutes, we'll release the rest of the pressure. So I did go over my 10 minutes just a little bit. But after your 10 minutes, you're going to go over here and just go ahead and release the rest of that steam. Obviously mine didn't have any in there or would be shooting out, but that is the process that you would take. Once all the steam has come out, you're just going to take your pork out and go ahead and just sit it on a plate. After you get all your pork out, you're then going to want to put your Instant Pot back on the saute setting. And we're going to let this start to simmer, and then we're going to add in some heavy whipping cream. And add your pork back into the sauce, and you're just going to let that the pork simmer in that sauce for a little bit just to get kind of coated. And that is what's for dinner tonight. Some creamy ranch pork. And I'm just serving ours with some green beans and skillet fried sweet potatoes. That recipe turned out great. The pork was super tender. 10 out of 10, recommend. Thank y'all so much for hanging out with me in the kitchen today. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're new. Leave me a comment down below on some of your favorite Instant Pot recipes. Thank you again to Ashley for collaborating with me on today's video. Y'all make sure to go watch hers so you can get some more Instant Pot recipe inspiration, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!